Hello and welcome to our Share Plans Uncovered series, which aims to answer your frequently asked questions about employee incentivisation schemes. I'm Martin Cooper, a partner in RSM's Share Plans and Reward team, and with me are my fellow partners Fiona Bell and Simon Adams. In today's video, we're asking, how do share plans benefit employees? So Simon, is a share plan the right answer for all employees?
It's not always, but we shouldn't be afraid of saying that. The real question that an employee has to answer when they're faced with the choice is, well, what do I want? Very commonly, they'll be perhaps offered the difference between a straight up cash offer, maybe a discretionary bonus or something a little bit more structured, versus something under an equity banner, which can be a whole range of things. But that's a bit more of a long-term journey. The incentives are inherently that much more long-term in their focus. And because of that, equity is just that much more different conceptually. There's no upfront reward for people. It's about taking into account what's the trajectory that the business is on, and what's the trajectory for me personally as well. And it'll come with a variety of different benefits too. They might be tax related. It might come with anything that is related to holding shares in your employer. But it's a really important conversation that businesses should be having before they just implement a share plan. Understand what drives your workforce. Understand what's going to make that incentive really, really punch.
Okay. And Fiona, we hear a lot about tax when it comes to share plans. Is that really the only benefit for employees?
Well, tax is a very good benefit for employees because you can structure share plans so that instead of having national insurance and employment tax payable by PAYE as soon as you receive a reward, like a bonus, you can instead turn that into having a capital gain, which can be taxable at a much lower rate and potentially deferred. But no, tax is not the only reason. Many employees actually like the companies they work for. They respect them. Perhaps they've joined them because they want the environmental, social, or whatever objectives the company has. So they would be really, really pleased to have the opportunity to be invited to join the journey, as Simon mentions it, join the journey of that particular company. But once you are a shareholder, there can be other benefits as well. So you might get dividends. You might be entitled to vote in the key important decisions of the company. But even if you don't get that, you're likely to be able to get the capital growth, the increase in value of the shares that you receive, and that can be very, very valuable.
Okay. And Simon, we've seen some real ups and downs in the economy recently. Is participating in a share plan a risky thing for an employee to do?
Well, there's always going to be that in the back of employees' minds, and there are lots of scare stories that they will have come across about share plans that have left employees in the lurch. And everyone is different, but we can't ignore things like the cost of living crisis and, as you say, the ups and downs of the economy, which affect everybody in one way or another. But I think, as well as the scare stories, what employers can say is that share plans do continue to succeed, and they've succeeded over the last few years where there have been really quite tricky economic conditions. And the reasons why many of those plans succeed is because there's a real two-way street going on here, and it's about an employer who's showing their commitment to employees in the same way that they expect their employees to show to their employer. It's about regular engagement, showing that regular commitment with good, clear, quality communication. And with that, everyone can just feel more comfortable and get on with the day job of driving value for the business.
That's really helpful. Fiona, if I'm an employee and I've been offered an award under my employer's share plan, what should I be on the lookout for?
Well, I think the first thing I'd be looking out for is, do I have to pay anything immediately? Now, if you've got an option, for example, that's the right to buy shares in the future. And in the UK, there's no tax liability when you receive that option. And because an option is an option, it's a choice. You're not obliged to actually buy the shares, so you can make that choice later if you think it's worthwhile buying the shares, paying for them and investing in the company. The next point you have to think about is if you're actually receiving the shares immediately, is there any liability at that stage? Now that's usually the time when there would be a tax liability, though that doesn't always happen if you've got one of the tax advantaged plans. But if at that stage you may have to put your hand in your pocket and pay for something, and you will then also have other responsibilities. So you might at that stage particularly need to look closely at any documentation, for example, if you have to sign up to a shareholders agreement.
Okay, well, thank you, Fiona, and thank you, Simon. That's really, really interesting. That's been a really interesting conversation and has certainly given us a lot to think about. If you'd like to know more about creating successful share plans, visit our website to watch the rest of our Share Plans Uncovered series or contact us using the details below.